change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and it is time for my September reading list. Awesome month of reading. 10 books, one 5-star book, a couple of 4-star books, off the charts. So come on over to the whiteboard and I'll show you what I read in September. As you can see, September really started off with a bang. I had a 5-star book right out of the gate. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. This book is all about traumatic stress and how it affects the brain. Not just affects the brain, but how it actually physically shapes the brain. How it creates physical structures in your brain that change how you experience the world. So for anyone that has had a traumatic experience in their past and they now feel anxiety and fear and stress at the drop of a hat, this book is for you. Anybody dealing with depression, this book is for you. I cannot recommend it enough. So please check that one out. Then I went on to Uncovering Happiness by Elisha Goldstein. And this is also a really important book. I'm giving it 4 stars. It's all about depression and how to create a resilient brain in the midst of depression using mindfulness and self-compassion, which are the tools that I talk about in many of my videos. So Elisha is talking about how to take a depressed brain and shape it into a brain that can once again experience happiness. Really, really important book. Next, I moved on to Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I'm giving this book 3 stars, not because it's not a great book, but because there isn't a lot of takeaway in it. There aren't a lot of applicable tools. It's a really fascinating story of Viktor Frankl's experience surviving Nazi death camps, what he had to go through, how it changed him, and how it changed the people around him, and how man's ultimate search in life is to find meaning. And that is one of the priorities, one of the most important human needs, to find meaning. And when you're in a situation that is absolutely bleak and your chance of survival is quite small, how do you find and create meaning, even in those moments? So, really good book, recommended reading. It'll give you some great perspective on your life at the moment, but not so many tools. I'm more about the tools that I can use. Then I moved on to At the Edge of Uncertainty by Michael Brooks, and I'm giving that one 4 stars because it's a really interesting look at the current frontiers of science. And there are a lot of takeaways, a lot of really useful stuff that you can apply to your thinking, apply to your conversations, and apply to your life and character. He looks at many, many important issues that we are right on the edge of at this point in time. So that's a really good one to check out. And I followed it up with another fantastic book, Incognito by David Eagleman, giving that one 4 stars. I would give it 5, but he tells a lot of stories, and I often just get lost or bored in the stories. Much more interested in the meat and the data and how it all works. And what he's talking about in this book is the unconscious workings of the human brain, like what goes on under the radar. Most of our behavior, most of our identity, most of our personality is incognito. We really don't have access to it. We don't know where to find it, at least if we are untrained and if we don't have an understanding of the physiology of the brain and what it does to work together, what each part of the brain does and how it affects your conscious experience. So if you want to know what's going on underneath the radar in your subconscious, this is a fantastic book. I followed that up with You Only Have to Be Right Once by Randall Lane. And this is a really interesting look into the rise of the new internet billionaires, the founders of Spotify, Dropbox, Tumblr, Twitter, Box, and a few others. And I'm giving it 3 stars because it's really interesting to see how these people came from the point of having an idea and then working their butts off to basically changing the way that we function in the world and what they had to do and what types of people they are. I'm only giving it 3 stars because just because one person can do thing doesn't mean that everybody can do that thing. And he doesn't really tell you how to be these types of person or people. He just tells you what they did. So not a lot of applicability. Then I moved on to The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, which I'm only giving 2 stars. And Gretchen knows why I'm giving this 2 stars, because throughout the book, she keeps saying, maybe I'm just being selfish. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe I'm being a crybaby. And throughout the book, she is being selfish and naive and often a crybaby. And it's an interesting story. There are some useful takeaways in there. But the vast majority of the book is her trying to discover happiness without really looking all too deeply into the workings of the brain, psychology, neuroscience, physiology, and whatnot. And she just kind of fumbles through this project and is often acting in the exact opposite way that one would want in order to find happiness. So if you want to read a roller coaster of somebody just going up and down and being all over the map and finding some cool stuff, but also really challenged, then this is for you. But it's not for me. I get really anxious when I listen to people making bad decisions and just being emotional without any understanding of what's going on underneath. So not one I recommend. But I followed it up with one I highly recommend, The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. I'm giving this one 4 stars, and this is required reading for every woman in North America and maybe Europe. I'm not sure how well it would translate, but if you live in the United States especially, or Canada, please read this book if you are a woman. It is absolutely crucial to understanding the mind of stalkers, the minds of rapists, the minds of serial killers, the minds of criminals, and just dangerous people in general. But not just knowing what their minds are, understanding the behavioral cascade that takes place that leads to a criminal or violent act. It rarely comes out of nowhere. There are always signs. And most people don't know how to read the signs, or they ignore the signs. They talk themselves out of paying attention to the signs. So this book is all about how to use the gift of fear, your natural instinct, to say, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right, or there's something about that guy, to go with that. And to maybe on occasion piss somebody off, but more often than not, avoid a situation that could go south very, very quickly. So that's a super important book. Great for guys as well. But for women, required reading. I followed that up with Crucial Conversations by Carrie Patterson. And this is, I'm giving it 3 stars. This is one of the books that really took the business world by storm a little while ago. And everybody was talking about Crucial Conversations, how important it was. And this is the new Bible of business communication and human resources. Well, there's a few takeaways in there. I'm giving it 3 stars, but it's kind of weak and it's kind of outdated. And it really doesn't take a lot of what we now know about psychology and neuroscience into account. Had they looked at the new data that we've got on the workings of the brain and communication and ego and the fight or flight response, they would have a very, very different book in their hands, and it would probably change the business world all over again. But this book, although it does have some useful moments in it, it's not great, and it's kind of outdated at this point. And last but not least is Brain Rules by John Medina, and I'm giving this one 4 stars because it's a great book. Lots of great information about how the brain learns, what sleep is, how to sleep more effectively, how that affects learning, what stress is, how to reduce stress, how to make stress your friend and actually help you get things done, and how stress affects the brain. So he's got, I think, 11 or 12 rules in there for how to get the most out of your brain. We talk about our hearts and our legs and our digestive systems as if they are mechanistic, and here's how to get a stronger heart, here's how to get stronger legs, here's how to improve your digestion. Well, the brain is also an organ with different regions that have different jobs. And John does a really good job of letting you know how to get the most out of these different areas of the brain so you can maximize your experience of being alive and your productivity and your levels of happiness. So recommend that book as well. So if you have to read one book on this list, it's The Body Keeps the Score. If you're a woman, read The Body Keeps the Score and The Gift of Fear. And after that, Brain Rules, Incognito, At the Edge of Uncertainty, and Uncovering Happiness. Can't recommend them enough. I really do hope that you check out some of the books on this list. There are some phenomenal reads, and I can't wait to hear what you think in the comments below. So please let me know. If you've already read one of these books, please share with me and the rest of the community that watches these videos what your thoughts are, maybe some suggestions of books that are similar and add some more insight into these areas. That would be great too, so we can keep this conversation going. And if you're not already a member of Audible and you want to get one of these books for free, you can sign up for a free 30-day trial using this link right here, and you get a free book for that 30-day trial. You can take advantage of any of their sales. They ran a sale a couple weeks ago, I think, where they had hundreds of books on sale for $4.95. I ended up buying like 6 or 7. Every day they have a daily deal for members where you can get a book from, it's usually like $1.95 to $3.95. And I check that every morning. It's one of the first things I do. And maybe every, 8 or 9 days, I'll end up buying one of the books because it's something I'm interested in. So for that 30 days, you get a free book. You can see what else is out there, take advantage of their normal discounts, and take advantage of their sales. And that helps me. If you sign up for this 30-day trial using this link, I get a little bit of a commission, even if you cancel. Even if at the end of the month you decide you don't want to be an Audible member, it still helps me out so I can make more videos, read more books, and share more information. So I hope you have an amazing month of reading in October, and I can't wait to share with you my October reading list because I've already got some really good books in the bank. All right? I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye. I can't believe that summer has gone by so quickly. It's already time for my August reading list. So come on over to the whiteboard, and I'll show you what I read in the month of August. My intention for the month of August was to have a very light reading list as I got ready for the Woodstock Fruit Festival.